Ah. All right, boys, you already know what happens. Uh, so welcome back to In the Zone, episode 9. Now we are with Matthew Rodriguez right here, right above me. Say hello,
Yeah.
Matthew.
Sup, guys? Sup, guys?
All
Big L.
right, and Matthew, would you like to tell him what's on the docket for today?
What's on the what?
What's on the docket?
What do you mean, docket?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean docket? What are we talking about? We just established this.
Ah, okay. Yeah, let's just clarify. King James, man, he was something special. He really showed out in the biggest moments that he could, and I want to congratulate him to winning his fourth NBA title.
You
And
ate shit that whole playoff run from him.
huh?
You ate shit from him that whole playoff run, bro. You kept
Dude,
downing them Lakers.
let's be honest, like everyone thought like the Clippers were gonna get in the way of the Lakers winning a title. And like even you did, like talent wise, they are such a good team.
But
But
the
man,
actual, like, whenever you saw them play, they just looked so garbage. Yeah. Well, I mean, you had the freaking Rockets because again, you were jacking off the Rockets in game one. So,
huh?
or game two. Wait, was it game one or game two that the Rockets won? You were just
Game
jacking them off on that
Dude,
thing.
okay, hold up. Everyone was jacking off the Portland Trailblazers when they won the first game. I'm a fan of the Rockets. Can I have my own time to like, jack off my own team?
No, you can't. Because the Rockets are garbage.
Hell no. Well, I mean, right now we should go into rebuild mode, but I mean, they're not garbage. It's just we're not a good playoff team.
All right, so let's just talk about the finals really, really quickly. So for those of you who lived under a rock or are just absolute nonsense, the Lakers won the NBA championship in 6 games over the Miami Heat, who, to be fair, fought very well throughout the entire postseason, showed that they were a legit team that should be taken seriously, and showed that they earned their place in the finals when they played the Lakers. I mean, that they played very well. Kudos to the Miami Heat. Shout out to Heat Nation.
Just one thing I know is like way off. I got more respect to Jimmy Butler than Kevin Durant.
Okay.
No, and I got more
I
respect.
can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
Uh,
More respect, yes. Be honest? Is Jimmy Butler better than Kevin Durant?
if he truly gets down his scoring game a lot better, and he has that mentality to just basically
Win. Yeah.
I'm not as good as you, but I'm gonna fight as hard as I can, and I don't see that from Kevin Durant.
Yeah, but KD has like absolute skill, bro. I think he's the best offensive player that we've ever seen. That will lead into the unpopular opinions later on, but like, yeah, I think he's possibly the best offensive player we've ever seen. Not the most dominant. That I think will always go to Shaq, just like 300 pounds and 7'1". Like, who's stopping that?
No, but what I'm talking about is like mentality wise, Jimmy Butler is better than Kevin
Yeah,
Durant.
but I think KD's always going to be better. No matter what Jimmy Butler does, he's never going to be looked at as better in my eyes. At least. That's just my opinion. But
Yeah.
the Miami Heat won. LeBron James, King James, took home Finals MVP. Hashtag for Kobe. Unfortunately, Danny Green sold in the Mamba jerseys. I don't know how he managed to do that.
He what?
He should just get. I mean, okay, yeah,
Oh yeah,
getting
yeah,
that
yeah,
threats
yeah.
was a bit too much, but like, come on, you sold in the Mamba jerseys, bro, with like the series on the line for the Miami Heat. You have an
Can we?
open shot, a wide open three that literally me and Matthew can hit in. Okay, we might not hit every single time, but like
Yeah, no, no,
we
no.
can hit it. Like you're paid to shoot. Your only job on this team is to shoot 3 pointers and to defend the perimeter, and you can't even do that right. Like, come
That's
on,
the
man.
sad part. This man was like completely like overrated in the off season whenever he was a free agent. People were saying like, "Oh my God, Danny Green, like he's gonna be an integral piece for a championship team."
I mean, to be
He was
fair,
dog shit when it came to
regular season he was. Postseason, not so much.
regular season. I don't remember anything from him. Same for
Yo,
KD.
KCP
But
though
he showed up.
stepped it up. KCP stepped it up. People were roasting the crap out of him. Yes, he didn't play well every single game, but he hit like some of the most clutch threes I've ever seen. Like he just stepped up whenever they needed him to. And
Hey, real quick, could you pause the recording?
oh yeah, sorry. Give me a second. All right. All right. So Matthew had to go quickly and jack off his parents. No homo. Anyhow, we're back. Let's talk this part. Okay, so my first very very unpopular opinion about this final series, I think AD will get his jersey retired before LeBron does for a Lakers for the Lakers. That's a very unpopular opinion. Hear me out, right? LeBron's masterpiece is nearly done with the Lakers. Like he's done all he needed to do to get his jersey retired. That's gonna happen at some point. Like 23 for the Lakers is gonna get retired with all God knows how many numbers they have up on that Raptors, you know. But I think that AD is gonna accomplish more for the Lakers in his time there than LeBron will. Okay, that because like AD, a star in LA is always going to attract anyone, no matter what you do. I think AD and LeBron will get at least one more championship. I think they can make at least another run for it. And if they get to the finals, there's no way in hell that they lose, you know? So I think that AD will have two championships. And I think that he can add further more to that than LeBron can. So I think he can get 3 or 4 with the Lakers if he stays there his whole career. That's a big if. I mean, we're assuming that he's not leaving this year, you know, like he just won a goddamn championship. This is like that'd be the stupidest thing he could do, you know. That'd be like Kawhi leaving the Raptors. Well, that was stupid in hindsight, but like 80 to someone on the team would be stupid now, you know. But I think that 80 will get his jersey retired for the Lakers before LeBron does because like the way he played in that series, he played like a person that was like his fifth, sixth, seventh final. He played like a true vet, you know, not someone who's like in the postseason for what the third time because he was on the gosh darn Pelicans, like the Pelicans. Like, what is he meant to do? Beat the Warriors with Drew Holiday as the point guard? Like, mad respects to Drew Holiday. You're like one of the best defensive point guards in the league, but like, what the hell are you gonna do? It's not like you know if he had DeMarcus Cousins, Rondo, Drew Holiday, then maybe you can put some of that and say, oh, they could have gotten at least 2. But it's like no, it's the Pelicans. Like, what the hell are the Pelicans gonna do? Even their name sounds stupid.
They're building a great, fantastic team with a bright young star. That's what they're doing.
Honestly, the Pelicans, that's just all they're good for is like being the stepping block for the superstar player. But yeah, I think that the way AD played in that series, he was so dominant in that series. Like we looked at as him versus Bam as like the crucial matchup. He clearly won that matchup versus Bam. Like Bam played decent, but like yeah, 80 was 80 that entire series. There was not one really bad game that he had. You know, his bad game in the series was like what 17 points, 15 boards. You know, that's like.
Nah, he had a in the finals. Yeah, that was probably his lowest.
Yeah,
But
it was
when it
like
came,
17 points, 11 boards, 4 assists. Like that's the bad game. The best game was like the 30-point game where he had like
no,
30 points, 10
or
boards, 6 assists, 2
he's
blocks. You know, like
no, but like there was a game where like I was like AD's not being that much of AD because he had 2 rebounds in one of the games.
oh yeah, yeah, that
It was
was
against the
funny.
Nuggets. And I'm not sure if it was because they were too efficient, the Lakers were, and maybe they weren't just getting enough rebounds. But like, man, like I don't know, that just doesn't seem like AD things. He did stop Jimmy Butler, which I really like from him, and he did also stop Jokic somewhat he's hold him down to a standstill because I don't think
Yeah, they
Jokic.
canceled each other out. So like then it was just LeBron versus Jamal Murray, and I don't get how much head his girlfriend gives him. He's not coming over that.
Honestly, like Jamal Murray, props to him.
And his girlfriend,
Hold
bro.
on, right before that, let's give props as well for the Nuggets for creating probably like
The greatest
Jamal Murray.
set of memes I've ever seen. Like
Yeah,
honestly, the 3-1
they barely
memes,
the
the
funniest meme.
getting head memes, so no head memes. Like, dude, honestly, the Nuggets had every meme in the bag. It's like the fat Jokic, the one where he's like slopping on the interview. He has the do rag on. You know, like honestly, the Nuggets have so many memes. Like that. Let's talk about the team very briefly. Like that team's gonna be a superstar. I think if it wasn't for the Lakers and the Clippers this year, they would have been viewed as the championship favorites. I said that to start that like
I
this is
guess
like a huge dark horse to go deep into the playoffs because but like I didn't think that they would because Lakers and Clippers. Like come on, like if you're gonna overcome one, there's no way you can overcome the other. But to be fair, they could have very easily been 3-1 up on the Lakers if it wasn't for the AD shot, the close what was it, game 3. that was really close as well.
Mhm.
You know, like two games that could have gone the other way, but instead went the Lakers' way because of either a circumstance in AD's shot or the fact that the Nuggets weren't ready. Like this is clearly not their year, you know, like not yet, at least. But their year is coming, just like Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
I remember I saw a meme. I don't know if you saw it. I'll see if I can find it. I remember it was like the greatest blown leads of 2020. It was like coronavirus being up 3-1 on like some other crap. The Atlanta Falcons. Let me think what else. The Chicago Bears and the Jamal Murray's girlfriend. Oh no, the LA Clippers and the Jamal Murray's girlfriend. Yeah, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, but it was like, dude, like honestly, I have mad respect for the Nuggets. I think everyone now does have mad respect for the Nuggets because of what they were able to do. You
Yeah,
know,
definitely. Obviously the Nuggets are showing that, they're gonna get a lot better and better when it comes to circumstances of them just being a very young team. Like I felt like if you gave them at least 2 more years, I could see them becoming a really strong team with just them holding off of Michael Porter Jr. They still got Bol, which is a really underrated,
valuable asset. Yeah,
valuable asset. I could see them pulling off a trade, of a package of Michael Porter Jr. and Bol to a certain team like the Washington Wizards for Bradley Beal, and that just sounds like a team that's just destined to be. But obviously, if I were them, I would just keep the core that they have, gel up as much as you can together, and see what you guys can do.
so what do you think they? Speaking of gelling up together, what do you think the Heat should do? Do you think they should trade the house for Giannis?
No.
What do you
Uh,
think they should do with them with regards to Giannis? Because let's be honest, if the Bucks don't trade him this year, they're gonna lose him in free agent. Like unless they win a championship or they go to the finals or they take that final step, you know, like LeBron with the Cavs. Like if they take that final step, he's staying, you know. But if they don't, then he's leaving, you know. So we'll talk about this really, really briefly. What do you think the Bucks should do to try and fix their team? Because let's be honest, it's not working. You know,
Pay him the money. Pay him the money.
no, but like I don't think they should. I think they should try and negotiate with him to get like a decent contract, but not a super max because that's going to cap hinder them. So I think they should
No,
try and get as much space as they can
no, they
to
should
try and get
definitely
the
go
car.
over the. My opinion, they should definitely go over the luxury tax and go as high as you can. Because think about it, what what is what does Milwaukee have to really bring a superstar towards their team?
Other than Giannis, not really much.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Giannis is a once in a lifetime player. You're never gonna see Giannis ever again once he's gone. So pay him as much money as you can that will keep him in Milwaukee and build around him. Dude, I don't see the point in Giannis like having to go somewhere just to win a championship. This guy's what, 26 years old?
Yeah, 26.
LeBron won his first championship when he was 28 years old.
But that was also after like what, 3 goes at the finals?
Yeah, but I mean, even Jordan, he got really knocked out when it came to being in the playoffs and being a Bulls team and just having to go against the Pistons, the
Larry
Milwaukee,
Legend Celtics, yeah.
yeah, the Sidney Moncrief led Milwaukee Bucks. I'm just saying, I don't feel like everyone should just leave and do, because I don't want you don't want the same thing to happen what with KD did.
Yeah,
You
and he
can't.
goes to the war. Honestly, that would be the best fit for him is the Warriors because like who the hell is gonna pack the paint against Giannis when you have Steph Curry and Clay on the same team? Like honestly, like the him on the Warriors would be the scariest thing of them all. Like that would instantly bring back like KD dynasty vibes. Like that would be petrifying if they did that.
But you
Like
don't
the
want
Warriors, that's not even out of their playbook right now because of the fact that they have the second pick and they're most likely going to trade Draymond at some point. Like I think his time with the Warriors is coming to a close, surely, slowly but surely.
why.
I don't know. I just get that vibe that like he's done. You know, he's done all he needed to do with him. You know, he's won multiple rings. You know, he fumbled the bag in 2016 sometimes by stepping. What was it? Stepping over LeBron. Who was the one that called him like got his feelings hurt? Was that Clay or was that him?
That was Clay, but what he did is called LeBron a bitch.
Which, if you guys don't know, and I know I mentioned this at some point, but like Mario Chalmers said that like that's LeBron's like trigger word. So
Yeah.
if he's calling him a bitch, he's gonna get triggered all up in the face.
Oh yeah, that's
So it's
when
like, of course, like if you were calling LeBron a bitch and saying he got his feelings hurt, yeah, you had that coming. Like 100, you had that destiny. That was destiny to have that happen.
there's no way you can call him a bitch. But I
All
mean,
right.
oh,
Do you want to do an I think we've talked. I mean, we've given our props to Jimmy Butler. Like, I think he's a top 10 player in the NBA right now. You know, like he's definitely done what he needs to be considered that.
right now he's over ahead Kevin Durant.
No, yeah,
No,
no.
yeah, I think he's because
Well, okay, KD
you have
injured
to say
obviously isn't even in the top 100 because he's goddamn injured. But it's not like
no. What I'm saying is that when KD comes back, and I know is we don't want to see it happen. He's not gonna be 100% on himself.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I think we're all well familiar. He's not going to be like perfectly the same. Like he's never going to be exactly the same. But we're just hoping he's like a lot like what he was. Like Dominique. Like yeah, obviously he lost a little bit, but like he definitely still
He
kept
adjusted
himself.
his game. That's the thing. He stopped doing so many highlight plays, started becoming more of a shooter, and started just adjusting his game towards not using his athleticism as much. But I mean, like with back to KD, yeah, he can rely on his shot, but he's never gonna have that same drive when it comes to going into the rim and fishing it or finishing it. And yeah, he will have that mid range. I will give him that. I just don't see KD being the same player as he once was. So that's why I'm gonna put Jimmy Butler ahead of him, and as well, Jimmy Butler going in the finals and basically having that 40-point triple double, man.
That
Uh,
was fun fact. That was the only time LeBron had ever been outscored, out rebounded, and out assisted in any finals game. In any of those categories, like in like more than one of them in a single finals game. Like that is so impressive when you think about it. He outscored him, he out rebounded him, he out assisted him, he out blocked him, out stole him. Like that was possibly the best performance of the finals not for a team on the losing side. I still stand by LeBron 2018 game one, like AI levels of that.
I was gonna
Like
say
for
West.
like
You know
for the
what?
situation for who he was up against and who he had to match up basically the entire game, yeah, that was one of the most impressive performances I've ever seen. You know, just to watch it and then him like lying down just dead, like that just perfectly encapsulated him and
Have
his
you seen
fight.
that after the post game interview? Like he walks off and like he's completely dusted off and tired. Like he's like so sore and everything.
Yeah,
That's gonna be so iconic.
yeah, like whenever was it when he's like lying on that with his head like that on the
Yeah,
railing,
yeah.
or was it? Yeah, it's like, dude, like if you guys don't know what I talk, just look at Jimmy Butler like lying down or like resting up. Like the image just speaks for itself. It just showed that he put everything he had on the court.
There was
And
46 yeah, there was 46 seconds left, I think, in the game, and you could clearly tell he was tired. He played 44 minutes out of that game. Or
it's like in the grand scheme of things, that's actually like not as much as you think it'd be because like LeBron, when he was in the finals, he would have to play like literally 47 out of the 48. Like he could rest a minute and then they'd lose a 10-point lead in like 2 seconds. So he'd be
yeah.
like, oh crap, gotta come back in. But it's like, yeah, that for the circumstance, yeah, that was so impressive, you know.
Mhm.
All right, so let's do some unpopular opinions. Okay, so my unpopular opinion I mentioned. What was it that I mentioned earlier? I have to remember exactly what it was. It was AD getting his jersey retired. Yours was Jimmy Butler being better than KD, which I think that's a little bit more unrealistic just because,
I wouldn't say better, but just downright like he's got a lot more respect given to him, and I feel like people are gonna love him a lot more rather than a KD. But I mean, like, yeah, KD won his two chips, but I don't think they're they don't hold that value.
yeah. Okay, my unpopular opinion is that the Celtics should trade Gordon Hayward while they can.
I don't think that's an unpopular opinion. I think that's downright like something they need to do quick because this guy is turning into
An injury liability, basically.
he's turning into the next Blake Griffin. Every time you guys need him, he just turns into shambles and he's always injured.
He gets struck with the injury bug instead of the coronavirus.
Yeah, like no joke. And it's getting to the point where I don't really see them having somewhat of a great build around if they got that contract on them. And as well, Brad Stevens, man. Brad Stevens. Okay. I got a lot of respect for him because he's a coach of the Boston Celtics. I really like the Boston Celtics. But I mean, this guy is getting out coached by Eric Spoelstra, Nick
There's no
Nurse.
shame in that one.
But Nick Nurse, a second year veteran coach or this a second year coach, you know, I mean, thank gosh they won that first series so they could look strong against, a Brett Brown led um, Philadelphia 76ers. And they fired him, by the way, so that's not even that big of an accomplishment. But I mean, wow, I don't know what to say. Brad Stevens, I like him. I think he's a great coach, but I just do not see him holding off that position for that long if we just keep seeing them blow leads like they do. Because you saw it when the Boston Celtics had at least a 5-point lead against the Heat. There was like at least 2 minutes left. The Heat would come back and then they would win by at least 8. You know, how
Yeah,
is that?
honestly, like, yeah.
I mean, yeah, Jason Tatum doesn't want to make shots during the game unless when it counts, when there's like 3 minutes left on the clock. But I mean, you gotta have that mentality where you gotta like have some kind of adjustments. Putting Marcus Smart in and not having that availability to shoot, although he did shoot very well in the
Here's
post.
an unpopular opinion. The
Yeah,
Rockets should not blow up everything yet. I think that I think the Rockets are a failure. Like I've made this a one. They are a complete failure. Like there's no getting around that point. Like Chris Paul won up the crap. Like even though he lost the series, won the
I don't
war.
know.
He
I don't
literally
know.
got everything that he could possibly think of except beating the Rockets because he got the coach fired. James Harden looks overrated. Russell Westbrook looks like an absolute nonce. Literally, PJ Tucker was their best player in that series. Like
Okay,
he
okay.
showed that small ball is not the way to go.
Okay,
ISO ball is not
hold
the way to
up, hold
go.
up.
That
I
he
feel
was
like
better than Russell Westbrook. Like he
no,
showed everything. You know.
I understand where you're coming from, but I feel like it's getting a little too much to the point where like it's downright bias hatred. I don't think like PJ Tucker is someone who is better than Russell and
No,
James.
but he was
Anyone
the
who's
most
ever said
important
that,
player in
like
that series. Like without
no,
him, they get blown out even more. You know.
no, I don't believe that, and I just don't think that's really a smart thing to say because I mean, yeah, of course we're gonna like joke around and say Russell and James don't care about winning championships, but like when it comes to like the ball of the game or when it comes to like stuff that you need to get done, you're gonna look towards them. You're not gonna look towards a PJ Tucker. I
I
mean,
mean,
he
I
best. He
trusted him more. That's gonna be. This is gonna sound like Skip Bayless. This is gonna sound like who is it? Max Kellerman saying who would you have to shoot rather have to shoot the shot? Kevin
I
Durant, Stephen Curry, or Andre Iguodala? It's like with the game on the line, the series on the line, on the road, the game is about to be over. Give me Andre Iguodala. And it's like, how does he even? Yeah, anyway, that's like what it was. But genuinely, like Westbrook is now like West choked. Harden has been just choking for the past 4 years in the postseason, even though his stats aren't that bad. Like when you watch the games, you know he's not. He's not the same player. Like anyone saying he is the same player is just an absolute idiot.
but you can say the same thing for Kawhi this postseason.
But I think that honestly, Kawhi was still Kawhi. He just wasn't to the level of last year, you know, or the level of years before. Like he was still Kawhi. Like I mean,
0 points in the
13
fourth
points,
quarter.
13 points in the final game of the season is really, really bad. Still not worse than Paul George, but it's still really bad. But like at least he was doing something, you know, in
I
the
don't.
previous series, and
You
he
know.
didn't like
I,
literally when I was playing basketball today in this jersey, someone missed a shot and they knew it was off. They said, "Oh man, that's a Paul George shot." And it's like, dude, like Paul George, yeah. When the Kawhi said that they needed a point guard, he meant that when they needed a PG, they didn't need Paul George. They needed a point guard. Like holy crap!
yeah, but I mean, like, what I'm saying is that, I, to be honest, I would still take over Russell Westbrook and James Harden over a Paul George. And I just would not take any of whatever PG.
I mean, that both of those are like absolute. If I had to pick two between the two, I'd rather just not have either of them, honestly. 'Cause nothing's good's
Thing,
gonna get.
I feel like James does still have that. He still gives that post production and gives at least somewhat a good postseason. It's just like and whenever he has a bad game, people just blow it out of proportion. He's had some really bad games. I'm not gonna lie. Like I remember, whenever he had 10 points and fouled out against the San Antonio Spurs.
In
When
game was it game six that he fouled out? The final game of the season?
like that was really bad, but he's been getting a lot better. I just don't really believe he's as bad as people are putting him out. Again, he still made sure that against that OKC series, he basically saved the series and blocked Dort, who was having a phenomenal game.
But
And he's
like that
very
was. Oh
underrated
wait,
too.
sorry. I'll let you finish. I'll let you finish.
Oh, and look, man, I get it. Like, the Rockets are just not doing that well, and you don't like them because there's a bunch of Rockets fans here in Houston. But I just don't really believe that you know saying PJ Tucker is better than both of them. That just doesn't really make any sense.
I
But
mean,
I mean,
with the game on the line, I have to have a 3-pointer. There's times winding down. I'm on the road in the bubble. Give me PJ Tucker.
oh man, you
I
see,
mean, but like honest, like okay, Harden in general is a top 5 player in the league. There's no disputing that. And Westbrook on his day was a top 10 player. Like there's no dispute. But like they're just so out of their league now. Like the two superstars in LA showed that they were the superstars, basically game in and game out. Like neither of them had a really bad game in that
but to be
series.
honest, did we ever see them winning against the Lakers though?
I
Like,
mean, everyone in Houston seemed to think so. Everyone said the same. Oh, small ball is the way to go now.
well,
But
no
like Austin
matter.
Rivers literally posted on his Instagram stories, like he said he remembers like going up and guarding AD. He was like thinking, "What the fuck are we doing here, bro? I'm 6'5" and he's 7 foot. Why am I guarding you?" It's like that is the perfect epitomization. Like PJ Tucker, that series was the only thing that was keeping them in that series. Like
I don't
Harden,
think at all.
after game one, he was the only thing that was keeping them in that series. His corner threes over and over in his defending against AD, like until the Lakers figured it out, like with the big ball. Well, they're a small ball lineup, but in actuality, it's still big ball. Because everyone was like 6'10", but it was their smallest lineup. It's like when they figured it out, then that completely ruined the Rockets. But like the first 2-3 games, they had the Rockets the Rockets flummoxed the Lakers. Honestly, like they showed that small ball can work, but because of who they had, the personnel, they were never going to take it to the next level. I think the Warriors are the only team that had the perfect small ball lineup. That
But
has had the perfect
they
small
always
ball
had a
lineup.
backup whenever it came to it. Like if small ball wasn't working, put JaVale McGee in, put Zaza Pachulia in. Put in some kind of low post presence that could at least stop, someone driving into the rim. I felt like when we had everything going on in the first year with Chris Paul, first of all, Chris Paul, congratulations to him having a phenomenal year. But yeah, having him like really elevated our team and have more of a mentality that we can win. I never liked the system of Mike D'Antoni, and that's why like I'm blaming more of Mike D'Antoni and Daryl Morey for just being such stats heads. And I mean, to be honest, I don't think you can blame it as much on towards James, although yeah, some of it is his fault. He was given the keys to drive. I mean, you can't blame him, because of the vehicle wasn't being so good. I
I
felt
feel. Oh, sorry. Continue.
I do think that they have to readjust and look on to more better things, but I don't really see this team going that far with Mike D'Antoni and Daryl Morey being on this team. But I mean, look, they're adjusting already. Daryl Morey's gone, Mike D'Antoni's gone. They quit actually, but I mean, still,
Yeah,
they
we get your point. I feel like D'Antoni and Daryl Morey kind of fucked the team in the fact that they were built to take down the Warriors, but when the Warriors weren't there, they were just gonna get boned every single time. Like Clint Capella in that Lakers series would have been huge with PJ Tucker because they would have had two post down players. So AD wouldn't have been able to feast like the second that they realized that they could just do big ball lineup. So it would have been Morris on PJ Tucker, which is a lot better matchup. And then Capella on AD, which again is a lot better match. Yeah, and like obviously Capella's still like out of his league. Like AD is AD. Like AD is gonna feast on everyone but like Jokic or Embiid or
Much,
like a Giannis. You know,
yeah.
like he's gonna feast, but like at least would have made it life difficult down low rather than like the mid range and 3 pointer. You know, it's like honestly, I think that the Rockets really, I think they really showed that they missed Chris Paul in those two series that they had this postseason because if they had Chris Paul in that Lakers series, his leadership and his ability to just create out of nothing. It's like it's not like James Harden where it's like ISO ball create out of nothing. Chris Paul's is like a create out of nothing with a play. You know, like the play could go to garbage really quick and he could still make it like to where it gets back to where it's home. It's like that 2K glitch where you're like players just like they're all fapping about in the corner and it's like you're like dribbling the ball there waiting for them to come and move around. And so then like the final 5 seconds of the shot like they start moving around and you finally find an open shot. It's like that. I feel like Chris Paul is like that type of he creates his own shot. James Harden is like okay, I'm isolating, and we're just gonna take this guy one on one. And I think that that's not the way to work because like I remember Kobe before he died, he made the comments like, "Do you think?" Someone asked him, was like, I think it was Rachel Nichols, like the ESPN girl. She's like, "Do you think the Rockets will ever win a championship? Do you think James Harden will win a championship?" He said, "No, not the way that they're playing because iso ball is like so much." He said, "Iso ball is like playing hero ball is not the way to go because it's so much easier to key in on. It's where you just have to look at who's dribbling with the ball." You know,
It's kind of funny coming from like one of the most ISO players, and props to Kobe for always being that kind of player. But I mean, like even at him, he always had that second star where he can just feast upon and have that team that he can rely on. Pau Gasol was, a great NBA player that he could always rely on, and same with the Derek Fisher and Andrew Bynum.
and obviously Shaq.
Well, yeah, but I was talking about like the 2010s.
This is a this is gonna trigger a crap ton of people, but I don't really care. Honestly, people overrate Kobe now that because he died, a
No,
hundred percent.
you're exactly right. Like there's
Because like people were like saying like not really saying great things about him. It's like oh he's a ball hog or he's like oh he's a legend, but like he's not the right type of legend, you know. Like and then when he dies, like oh my god, he's the greatest player to ever play this game. We should all say that. It's like go Kobe for life, you know. It's like okay, I get he was a great player, and I get this is a tragic event, but like the initial shock, the second the initial shock wore down for me, I was like I moved him up a little bit because of the fact of what he did for the game, because it's still going to impact people now for like 20 years. People are still going to say Kobe when they shoot the freaking paper trash can, you know. But like, I think that his impact was more of what he did for the Lakers than rather for what he did for the game of basketball, if that makes sense. You know, that's why like whenever that guy that said fuck Kobe in the streets and got the shit beaten out of him, like he had that coming because you're doing it in Laker time. Like if you did that in Houston, no one would be like, let's beat him up for that, you know?
Mm,
Like they'd get upset because it's like, dude, you're telling a dead man to fuck himself. It's like you deserve to get hurt,
no,
but I'm not going to go
it's
in to
too
do
much
it.
of a sensitive topic to talk about. But I mean, like, I understand exactly what you mean. Because to be honest, in my opinion, I don't really think Kobe was that good of a person in general. But I
You think
mean,
he was like a Jordan in the fact that he was an asshole, but he was the perfect leader for the Lakers. Like he's the perfect epitomization of the Lakers in the late 2010s. I think that's a pretty accurate statement.
uh, early 2010s, you mean? But yeah, uh, I don't know. It's just like there was a lot of things that Kobe had when it came to like, because I mean, like he was a great player. I'll give him that. But like as well, he was like really big headed. Like when it came to him and Shaq being on that team, Kobe would. There was a reason why the Detroit Pistons beat them, and they said it like their system was to single out Kobe and Shaq. Make sure Shaq gets his touches, and then whenever Kobe would be in the game, he'd be cold out and just like couldn't do anything, and that's why they held him off to 58 points in one game.
Yeah. Like honestly, do you think that 2004? I'm gonna let's just talk. What is the most impressive championships of the decades? The 2000s and the 2010s. Which is the most impressive? I have like a few. Obviously, the 2004 Pistons because there wasn't really a superstar. Like
There's
Chauncey
no
Billups was,
all-star on that team.
yeah, like it was literally just defense and like teamwork, and it was against the super squad. Like that was one where it's like defense and teamwork wins championships more than talent. Like that's like the perfect epitomization of that KD quote is like, uh, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Like that's the perfect epitomization of that series. That series was the epitomization of that quote, like 100%.
Hmm.
Because the Lakers, let's be honest, the Lakers thought that they were gonna win in that like easy. I think everyone at the time. I mean, I can't speak for it because I was 2 years old, and I don't think you can either because I think you were like what, one, maybe two.
Yeah, it was
You know,
two.
exactly. Like we can't speak for that, but let's looking back on it, like yeah, obviously they would think that like that's a super team. Even by today's standards, like you get one of the best defensive guards. Actually, well, it's probably closest to the Clippers, honestly, except for the fact that they don't have Shaq. They don't have like that big down low presence, but you get what I mean. So I think from the 2000s, I would put the 2004 Pistons like right at the top because like there's not really any other ones where it's like they really fought this entire way to get to this point. You know, from the 2010s, I think 100%. The 2011 Mavs, 2013 Heat, 14 Spurs, 16 Cavaliers have to be on this list. I
You
think
said
those are the only ones that should be. Like those are the top tier. And I think if I were to put one at the top, not just because of how much it did for his legacy, but because of how impressive the actual run itself was, I would put 2011 Mavs as the most impressive of the decade. Like,
I would say 2011, the Mavs are like the most impressive playoff run because for the fact that like nobody saw them coming.
like
But
outside of Dallas, obviously, or outside of Texas, like no one said, "Oh, Mavs are winning." Like they were still a solid squad. It was like the Nuggets this year. Like there was everyone was like, "Yeah, that's a solid squad that can make some noise," but they're not going to go the distance. And then what did they do? They went the distance, and they beat probably the most hated team at the time. I mean, obviously the Warriors took that title, so but yeah, I think that 2016 is the best championship in terms of like the story, like because it literally felt like something out of a movie script.
I wouldn't say hard work though for that team because they had talent. But I would say like they were like the true underdogs that like just overcame everything. And like let's be honest, LeBron was basically he went he be man. Whenever Clay said like I guess he got his feelings hurt.
Wait, where did that image with like where he has the headphones in? It said no team has ever won when trailing in a 3-1 series. Is that a real image or is that like someone made that of me? Like I have to know. Like
I,
I've never found out if that was a real thing. I don't think it is because I don't think you would wear that like that. But
yeah,
like
I think one thing that like I really enjoyed out of that series is like when he was asked about that and LeBron's had that like evil laugh.
it was like
Like
y'all
he
are
said,
in
like,
for it.
"Oh, you guys messed up." You guys messed
Yeah,
up.
honestly. Like, dude, I think that was probably 2016 is the best season for the NBA. 100%. 2020 would have been had it not been for Corona. 100%. If it hadn't been like, because the season just felt like that we were gonna have like great postseason matchups, which we did. We were gonna have LeBron versus Kawhi. We were gonna find the Battle of LA in LA, which like I don't know how you can say who's the home team or not. They play in the same city, in the same stadium. Like there's not a home game between the two. It's just which tickets are more allocated.
Yeah, yeah. I felt like I feel bad because like I felt like this postseason should have been watched a lot more. I just felt like there was like a lot of things that were like holding it back, like the coronavirus. It got really, really political, and I know people don't really like that much. And just things in general with players not being there and just not having the same atmosphere with the same with the fans. Hopefully for the 2021 season, we have everything going back to normal. We have back everything back into its regular ways. But let's get into the discussion of how exciting it's going to be for the 2021 season.
Honestly, though, but it's gonna start. Do you think that they're gonna make that a permanent thing where it starts in January?
I feel like they're gonna make it into 60 games or maybe around 50 games. That I feel like they're gonna definitely change the amount of games because
Dude,
uh,
the Christmas. I just realized that we're not gonna get a Christmas Day game. Dude, we're gonna get the Martin Luther King Jr. Day games.
Ah, dude. Ah,
Oh,
that's
no.
well, I mean,
Dude, that was like the best thing about Christmas Day because I remember watching the Cavs and the Warriors so many times in Christmas Day. Oh,
yeah.
dude, now we're gonna have the Easter Day specials of like the Martin Luther, the friggin' like Martha Kate or Martin King, Luther J. Jr.'s or Martin.
Martin
Guys,
Luther King Day,
yeah, we're gonna have that day. President's Day showdown.
April Fool's Day.
Yeah, we're gonna play. We're gonna troll the fans by giving them the worst matchups possible.
Yeah. Man. Yeah. That was.
Dude, they have to have the Christmas Day games back. Like that just meant Christmas Story and then the NBA games on the like two TVs. That's my childhood right there. 100%.
Yeah. But like definitely like the narratives going into the
And
2020.
wait, continue talking. I'm gonna go get a drink of water. You can continue talking.
Okay. So now that Nick's gone, we're gonna talk about the 2021 season. So the narrative between the 2021 season is a lot of things basically colliding together. We're basically gonna have probably the best playoffs ever, in my opinion, for the 2021 season. Knowing that Brooklyn Nets are coming back, the Golden State Warriors are coming back, Clippers, as you know, they're gonna come back and they're gonna try to win. The Lakers trying to, repeat. The Rockets, I don't know what the hell they're gonna do. Um, the Nuggets, absolutely, just gonna
The
go off.
Bucks with their final stand, with
Oh,
Giannis.
true, yeah. Like we believe Bucks. Like they want to stay with Giannis.
Yeah, we're
Uh,
the underdogs, boys. The
the
Miami Heat
Minnesota
trying to prove that it
Timberwolves.
wasn't a fluke. Yeah. The Boston
Yeah,
Celtics, the 76ers with God damn it, Doc Rivers.
that was. Hold up, right? Pause right there. Probably one of the worst coach pickups. I mean, nah, I wouldn't say worst, but like them with Mike D'Antoni
Stupidest.
would have
Yeah,
been
it's like the most illogical. Because like you just lost. Like you got swept. You have a loser's mentality, and you're bringing the dude in who has a literally 25% of the
terrible.
3-1 lead blown. Like, dude, what are y'all doing with yourself? And he did it with one team. It wasn't even with multiple. It was with one team. He blew 4-3-1 leads with.
You know what's sad is that like he watched the finals game with the Philadelphia 76ers. Like that's you know how weird that is? He got fired in the postseason, then got hired in the postseason. I felt like it was just way too weak of a move and I feel like it's something that the Sixers would do. Who's the highest name they can pull out? Let's get Doc Rivers instead of just waiting out and getting a valuable coach. But go back to the 2021 season.
Oh, yeah. I am going to make it the statement now, and I'm going to look back on it with regret. I don't think the Clippers are going to get to the second round. I think they're going to get boned with their first round matchup. I think they're going to get the Warriors.
The Clippers?
Yeah. I think the Warriors are going to get the sixth seed. I think they're going to take it seriously enough to make the playoffs. But once they make it, there's like not a damn. They had the original deal. Like, let's be honest. Like, they have the splash players. That's enough for them, for me, right now.
They got the
Because
second.
let's be honest, Kawhi's going to get Curry and Clay's going to get PG. Well, you already know what PG's going to do. He's going to turn into playoff P. Or what was it? Was it Spicy P or Playoff P that he dubbed himself? Y'all ain't even seen Playoff P yet. Oh, yeah, it was Playoff P. Yeah, it's one good game. He had one good game and he called himself Playoff P. And you know what he did that rest of the series? He averaged like 16 points. Like, come on.
On
Like
bad.
he was struggling with depression and anxiety during the Maverick series because he was playing so goddamn garbage. Like, you deserve that. If you have depression over how you're playing a game of basketball, what are you doing on the court? Like, come on, man.
Yeah, like honestly, Paul George has a loser mentality, man. Like
He's a joke. It's a bad shot. It's like, no, it's not. He made the damn shot. It's a good shot. You
He
know,
shot on you. That's why it's a bad shot.
it's a bad shot for everyone in the league, but Damian Lillard, Stephen Curry. You know,
But Damian Lillard, Stephen Curry,
and
and
maybe Trae Young. Maybe Trae Young. Maybe Logo LeBron as well. But for playoff P, that's a good shot.
yeah, yeah. I mean, for playoff P, you never know.
And the Jazz and the Nuggets. Dude, the West is stacked. The West is going to be so stacked. I hope the Nets make the playoffs. I hope they don't get screwed with injuries again because let's be honest, they got boned beyond belief. They literally only had like a 7-man rotation.
They were running literal players that were on like 2-day contracts.
Like they were running plays from your local high school gym.
They were like at the local YMCA, and they were like, "Hey, yo, who wants to play for the Nets?" Literally, it was so sad, man. Like,
They ran the Boy Scouts team.
dude, I couldn't even name some of the players that they had. It was
Oh
so,
my gosh, that killed me though. The YMCA.
dude, like Jared Allen and maybe Karis LeVert were there, and that's about it. I know Jamal Crawford was there, but I don't remember anything that memorable.
Yeah.
That was sad. But yeah. Yeah, I really want the Nets to, have a great 2021 season, because obviously that whole thing with Kyrie. Oh man, I've been really wanting to talk about Kyrie so badly. Okay, let's have this discussion. Kyrie, is he the most toxic teammate besides Kevin Durant? Which is
Well, Kevin Durant's not a toxic teammate. I would put DeMarcus Cousins like over Kevin Durant. Like Kevin Durant's a toxic, like he signed with this team. This team is now like annoying as crap. Like that's the definition of toxic for KD. As for teammate, ooh, that's actually a good question. I know there's at least one that I'm like thinking of in the back of my mind. I don't remember who it was.
Kobe's one
Uh,
of them too. He's a toxic teammate as well.
no, he's not. Well, okay, he's not the perfect ideal teammate, but he's not toxic. Like
No, but when it came to like,
toxic would be Kwame Brown. Like Kwame Brown's gonna mess up the locker room every single time. You know,
wait,
Brian Scalabrine is toxic. You know why? 'Cause he's the goat.
nah, not at all.
He's too. His balls are so big that it takes up the whole locker room. His
Man,
ego is so low that it makes everyone else feel ashamed of themselves. He's so good. He puts Michael Jordan to shame.
yeah, there's a reason why they call him Red Mamba, but I mean,
White Mamba.
I thought it was Red Mamba.
No, it's the white. No, Red Mamba is not no. The Great Wall of China is Yao Ming. Who's the Red Wall? I think it's Jeremy Lin. No, wait, no, Lin Sanity is Jeremy Lin. But yeah, let me look at the Red Mamba. I know there's a yellow Mamba.
It doesn't really matter that much, but like, I don't know.
Matt Bonner. Wait,
He was the Red Mamba.
I thought Matt Bonner was the Red Rocket. It's the Red Rocket or the Red Mamba? Is Matt
Okay,
Bonner.
the Red Rocket. That sounds incredibly sus, but I mean, oh well.
Yo, you've been playing Among Us though. I see that Among Us lingo.
Oh, dude, another thing, the Dallas Mavericks. Holy crap, man. But I see Porzingis being injured all the time. Oh yeah, back to Kyrie being. I see, man, Kyrie, he is so toxic. That guy, like, he literally calls out players to the media, saying like, "Oh, we need a piece or two here, or we need to find some valuable pieces, and because we know there's like some guys here that aren't performing their best," which I think is absolute like, BS, because I felt like the team, like, they performed as best as they could. Spencer Dinwiddie, absolutely unrated. That guy should be a starter point guard in one team.
Karis LeVert.
An extreme bright young star. Jared Allen, amazing.
The Fro.
The Fro.
Whoever the Nets announcer, whenever he says the Fro, is like it just like, dude, that just sounds right. The Fro, you know.
Oh yeah.
It's like the way he says it's just so sick. Anyhow, continue. That's off topic a little bit.
Nah, you're good.
That sounds a little bit like I'm gay for freaking Jared Allen.
Nah. Jared Allen's a great player. So I
I thought
mean,
you were about to say, nah, it's okay to be gay for Jared Allen.
not what I meant, but
That would have been extremely sus.
yeah, that was kind of sus. No, the Brooklyn Nets are a great team. I don't know what the hell Kyrie's talking about. I mean,
Steve
yeah,
Nash too. Like he's like saying, we don't need a coach. It's like, yeah, y'all do. What do you think? You're gonna manage yourself? What the hell are y'all thinking? And then
that
he's saying, oh, it's great to finally have a teammate that can knock down these shots. It's like as if you didn't have LeBron on your team.
holy shit. You know how much that pissed me off? Like I was like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? Like, do you not know you played with the greatness of LeBron James and just to like
I
down
mean,
talk?
to be completely fair to Kyrie, he had hit more clutch shots in the Cavs jersey when he was there than LeBron did. Like he hit the biggest shot. He was the one that hit the biggest shot. The
Oh,
shot. Now, obviously, LeBron had more clutch moments, but like Kyrie was the go time scorer in clutch moments. I mean, for the
maybe
majority.
10 year, but remember
It was
LeBron.
split. It was at the very least, it was split, but I think it was more like they leaned on Kyrie more towards LeBron. Because LeBron was the playmaker. LeBron would draw the defense in, and Kyrie would be the one to hit the shot. I feel like that's how it worked out. 90% of the time.
Yeah, true. But like when it comes down game on the line, who would you rather have? LeBron or Kyrie? Not just
Andre Iguodala.
but like
Andre Iguodala.
no, but I meant like who would you rather have when it comes down to like okay, it's game 7. Who do you want?
I mean,
Kyrie,
again, Kyrie hit the shot in game 7 of the finals to
not the
complete
shot,
the
the
3-1
game,
comeback.
not the shot, the game.
Dude, like Kyrie is not bad clutch wise. Like I'm not even capping. Like I think he's more clutch than LeBron on his shot. Like he is like Joe Johnson is like my pick for the most clutch shooter, pure shooter. And dude, have you seen his percentage? He shoots like 60% in the final 2 minutes of the game when the game is like 3 points or less. Like that's ridiculous. He shoots 42% in general and 60% when the game is. I will stand by that. Joe Johnson is my pick if I was to have like obviously like LeBron is better. Like I'm not gonna cap and say Joe Johnson is now suddenly better than LeBron James. Like I'm not capping it, but like Joe Johnson in the clutch is possibly the best player I've seen because I've seen so many games where like it came down to ISO Joe and he actually hit the damn shot. You know,
Yeah, ISO Joe. That
that's
guy's
honestly one of the best nicknames I've ever heard. ISO Joe.
yeah, that guy's underrated. That man's he should be a Hall of Famer low key, but I mean that's another topic. Uh,
Speak. Do you want to just? I think I'm I'm marginally going Kyrie for the shot, for the pure shot.
but can
For
we
the
at least say like he's very toxic?
yeah, 100%. Hey, before we run out of time, do you want to talk about the goat discussion? Okay, so where is your standings now?
Well, what I meant like goat discussion, I meant like making a case for LeBron being like the greatest player of all time in his stance. Now that he just won his fourth championship, I still think there's a little bit catching up he has to do when it comes to like him being the greatest of all time. Maybe one or two more championships, I can put him in that discussion. But he's definitely eclipsed, the Magic Johnson of the
I mean,
greatest.
he's been eclipsed for Magic Johnson for ages.
No, because Magic's. I don't think so, because I felt like Magic's done a lot more in his tenure with the Lakers, and
Wait, do you mean for the Lakers or do you mean all time?
I mean, like him in general as a career. I feel like he moved up to that spot of being like, hey, I'm this top 3 level guy. No, not top 3 level guy, but I'm this kind of level guy, and that he's gonna perform amazingly well against other greats. Because if you look at the dominance that LeBron has against, it's a pretty it holds its own pretty well. Beating out Tim Duncan, Kawhi Leonard, and beating out Kevin Durant, and as well with the now just beating out Jimmy Butler, who's also a great player.
I think that I've always said this. LeBron is 100% the better player than Jordan. Like just pure athleticism,
But I
top
don't
to bottom. Like peak LeBron is way, in my opinion, is maybe not way better than Jordan, but he's better than Jordan for sure. Like peak Jordan versus peak LeBron, give me peak LeBron every year. You know. And as for legacy, I think Jordan is still the goat. I think no matter what, unless LeBron gets the same, I think when LeBron gets the same amount of rings, and let's be honest, he's inevitably going to get the most points unless he gets like a really bad injury, and he's going to have one of the most assists, and he's going to have like average like 7 boards a game. Like there's no debating at that point. Like he will have surpassed him in literally anything that Jordan can argue for. Like seriously, like, and he has like the most important ring out of like he has the most important ring to the legacy, which was the 2016 one. You know, like what does Jordan have at that point? You know, there wasn't a ring where you're like looking at Jordan like this is the best ring that you could possibly make for his legacy. Like all of them were equal and great in their own reason, but none of them really stood out. You know, because it wasn't like where he never had his back truly against the wall because he always had the thought that okay, there's a game 7 if I need it. You know, I mean obviously he never needed it because he's Jordan. You know, he just felt inevitable that he would finish it in the 6th because I think like literally every single one of them he won in 6 games. If I'm not no, he won the Lakers one in 5. That was the only other one. You know, like Jordan always has felt inevitable. It felt like LeBron had to work for his, if that makes sense. I think as time passes, there's going to be another person. Maybe it's Zion, maybe Giannis, maybe AD, whatever. You know, whoever it is that challenges their legacy. You know, but I think that, in my opinion, I think that LeBron, if he gets the 6 rings, he will be equal or better than Jordan in every single category. And there's not an argument then to be made for GOAT. Because if it was just about championships, like 6-0 versus 4-6, Bill Russell would be the champion and Robert Horry would be better than Jordan. Which, let's be honest, Robert Horry is not better than Michael Jordan, you know?
But I don't think you can make that case. Like I said, they're very totally different players, and you can't say Bill Russell's better than Michael Jordan because if you look back over on his percentages and what he averaged, he was a 19.9, average player. There's people who put Wilt Chamberlain over Bill Russell just
I mean,
because
I don't
he
know if
didn't.
you saw the Dom video where it's like he talked to the dude who's been around since like the 50s or the 60s, and he said Wilt was better than Dom 2K, or not Wilt was better than Dom 2K. Obviously, Wilt's better than Dom 2K, but like Wilt Chamberlain was a better player than Bill Russell, but Bill Russell was the better winner. I think that's a pretty accurate summarization of the two.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah. Um,
Wilt Chamberlain was fine to have like 40 points, 15, 20 boards, and like not win a single game that season. Like he was about the stats more than the actual. He was about having the fun more than the actual winning. Bill Russell was always about the winning. Like he did whatever it took to win.
yeah, and there's a reason why like he won 11 out of his 13 years winning a championship over in his career. I really do feel like we can't really make that case of Bill Russell being the GOAT because yeah, he's a great player, but no way we're gonna actually logically put Bill Russell over Michael Jordan. I mean, he was a fantastic player, but Wilt would dominate him every single time he would play against them, and he would completely just like stuff on him whenever it came to like being in the finals. And there, again, like there was a reason why Jerry West won Finals MVP in one of the finals. Although, like, yeah, he was performing extremely well, but Bill Russell wasn't really looked upon as that guy. Like, holy crap, that guy's like absolutely taking over the game. Or
Do you think that Jerry West is the most unlucky player in NBA history?
mm, I would say Elgin Baylor because he
Really?
actually didn't win. At
Yeah,
least
but like
West won.
Jerry West won. He'd never won against the Celtics.
Yeah, he. I forgot about that. Yeah, he never won against the
He
Celtics.
literally beat the Knicks for his championship. Like, what more do you want from him? You know, like the man never won a real championship. He beat the stupid New York Knicks for his
I
championship.
wouldn't say he didn't win a real championship because, like, you have
Dog,
to say what's
he
in front.
beat the Knicks.
Say anything about that. But I mean, like, man, like you feel bad for him because, like, he really tried his best when it came to trying to put on his part, and like it wasn't like he wasn't doing anything. He man, like we Jerry West was one of those players that averaged a 40-point triple double, or not 40-point, 30-point triple double.
You know,
No,
like
he
he won Finals MVP on the losing team. Like that's pretty much his career in summarization. Brilliant in defeat against the Boston Celtics. Like
yeah.
you know,
That's another thing. Like, for another case against Bill Russell, like if Bill Russell was just that great, why didn't he stop Jerry West?
I mean, let's be honest. Jerry West was like the Steph Curry of the 60s and 70s, and Bill Russell was like the Giannis or AD, except that he
Oh,
could win.
no, 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 no. I would say he is the uh
Do you have a
extreme
better comparison?
steroid version Rudy Gobert.
Actually, wait. Let me think about it. Yeah, that's actually kind of fair because he can't shoot.
Can't shoot. He can definitely guard up and play some good ass defense. No, actually, I say like yeah, he is kind of like Giannis for his time because of practical size, but I wouldn't say he's as athletic. I would say Wilt is athletic as Giannis, but in my opinion, I feel like Wilt is the most athletic man of all time, other than
I
LeBron.
mean, if the rumors are true, he was benching like 500. Arnold Schwarzenegger apparently said he's like one of the most. He benched like twice as much as him, and he like apparently he was picking up people rather like necks. So it's like holy crap, he was picking up grown men by the scruff of their neck.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, and not Bill, uh, Wilt Chamberlain was a track star. He there was more things for him to carry rather than just basketball. So that's why, like, I feel like when it comes to Wilt Chamberlain, we look at him and like we kind of took it for granted by how great of a athlete he was just in general, rather than just a basketball player. But I mean, to be honest, if the if the careers were switched around for Wilt and Bill Russell, and Wilt won 11 of those championships and Bill won two, it wouldn't even be a discussion.
Yeah,
Wilt is the
100%.
greatest player of all time.
Yeah, like 100%. If Wilt won more championships, he would be the GOAT. Like people put Kareem as their GOAT because he won a lot and because he was so successful and he had like one of the most iconic shots. Which is that the most iconic shot in NBA history? The sky hook, the Kareem sky hook, where he oh, just adds like a little bit of magic to it every single time. Is
Mm-hmm.
that the most iconic shot? Like Magic has the most iconic passing. I think Kareem has up there as the most iconic shot. Jordan has the most iconic dunks, and Kobe has the most iconic saying. I think that's a pretty fair statement. You
I would
know.
say like Dirk as well. Like Dirk had that one-legged fadeaway shot,
Oh yeah. Oh crap.
and Hakeem had his dream shake.
Yeah, Hakeem had the best move. I think Kareem, yeah, definitely had. I still think Kareem had the best shot, the most iconic shot, because like that's a shot that so many people have tried to duplicate, but none have ever been able to. Like you can duplicate Dirk's fader if you're like acting stupid on the playground, but like very few people can imitate that skyhook. It's very like I've been trying to do it recently. It's one of the hardest things. I've gotten to where it's like manageable to where it's like Jokic, where it's like a little bit of a shove, but like the perfect sky arc, like this perfect sky hook is one of the hardest shots you can ever do in the game of basketball, where you can just turn and then just do it like perfect in motion. Like honestly, people I never had really understanding for how hard some of these shots are, but these NBA players like specific, like the very specific ones like LeBron's fadeaways, Dirk's fadeaways, you know, Kareem skyhook. Like these shots are so damn difficult. Like if you guys ever think that this looks easy, it's not. Like this, there is so much training in this stuff. I have mad respect for it. And it's like people who really like push themselves to the absolute brink don't push themselves enough. Like these players really push themselves. Like that's the difference between NBA and college. Is the NBA has all the fundamentals down and they have the mentality so much more than the college kids. Because it's literally their job to be the best that they can be, you know?
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why, like, even when you say, like, oh, I could beat the worst player in the NBA,
Fuck
not
those.
no, no chance. Think about it. There's 450 players in the NBA out of the whole entire world. You're telling me 450 players, like, that are the greatest players right now in the world in basketball. You could beat one of them? No, no, no. I don't think
I mean,
that's.
if you got hot from like half court range, maybe you could do it.
I don't
Like
believe.
I've always said, like those like those images where it's like you're playing Game 7 Michael Jordan, which like never actually was been a thing, but you know what I mean. It's like Game 6 of the NBA Finals, Michael Jordan. You have 10 shots. You dick on these the entire time. You know, you hit one shot, you get $1 billion. If you miss it, you can't listen to music, you can't watch any TV, you can't use any electron. You basically shut down from the world. Will you take on the bet? It's like hell yeah, dude. Come on. I hope I can make at least one shot, just out of pure luck. Not out of skill, not because I'm better than Jordan or anything, but because out of pure luck, I'll chuck half court heave shots and just hope that one goes in.
But you do know like how much of a chance you got that, like that.
Yeah, like
possible. And against Michael Jordan, nah, keep dreaming, man.
nah, I take that bet still. That's a word. It's a small price to pay for salvation. I get $10 billion, dude. I'm set for life. Like it's worth it. It's a worth it. Would you take it?
No.
You wouldn't take it. Well, okay, what about Game 7 Giannis?
Against Giannis, no. He can block me from the paint all the way to the half court.
Yeah, dude, that would be like so scary to try and do. It was like, did you ever watch Trainwreck? The movie with LeBron James, Bill Hader, and Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's like they're playing is like the Bill Hader versus LeBron. Like Bill Hader's 6'3", and he looks like a baby. Like genuinely.
He's 6'3"?
Yeah, let me look it up. I'll read this. I know he's like around my height. Hang on.
What the hell?
6'1", my bad. 6'1" and a half.
Pretty tall too. That's a funny part. That's like pretty tall.
And he looks like a baby. Like, dude, like people who say these NBA players are men. Like these are like Steph Curry is my height. He's 6'3", or he's 6'2" at least. James Harden is 6'5". Like these people that look small, quote unquote, are still decently sized. Like the only ones that are small are like Isaiah Thomas. And that's because he's not packing anything. So that adds like that
Yeah, how can you say that about Isaiah Thomas, bro?
Dude, he's a little kid. What does he got? He's not packing anything.
Oh man, that's
Braun is packing something. Like, come on. This is gonna sound so sus. But like, come on, like he's got a schlong, He's black and he's in the NBA and he's 6'8". Like,
okay, man, calm down. Sus reacts, I swear.
All right. Anyhow, I think my parents just said end the podcast. So, all right. So, anyhow, so thank you guys for listening to episode 9. Is there any closing statements you want, Matthew?
Steph Curry's gonna do something.
Do you think the Warriors will win the championship?
No, but he will do something.
All right, you hear, folks. Sorry about the abrupt ending, guys. It's like 10:11, and I actually have work, and my parents are about to go to sleep, so kind of have to tone it down. So, yeah. All right, so thank you, Matthew, for joining us for episode 9. This episode, the last episode literally took 3 weeks to upload. I don't think this one will take this long. So, anywho, thank you all for listening, and see ya.
All right, see you, man.